Hey guys, welcome back to the CulePodcast. Welcome back to another video. On today's video, we're going to be looking at some of Xavi's words in his press conference, ahead of that game against Villarreal, in which he talks about his departure and exit from the club. And then as well, we're going to be talking about Hansi Flick. But guys, before we get started on the video, make sure to follow me on all of my social media platforms. Go over there and check me out. That way you guys can stay up to date with everything that I do on the channel. But guys, before I start the video as well, something that we have to do, we have to give props and congratulations to Barcelona Femini for winning the Femini Champions League. They have won the Champions League, and they have won their Femini fourth treble. Barcelona, they now have four trebles, as you guys can see right here. The men, they've won two trebles in 2015 and in 2009. And Barcelona Femini, they completed the treble in 2021 and 2024. And Barcelona Femini, they are champions of Europe. You have to give them props. And they've managed to beat Olympique de Lyon in the final, a team which was their boogeyman, as they've lost two previous finals, both in 2019, I believe, and in 2020, I believe, or 2022. Barcelona Femini, you have to give them congrats, and thank you for giving Barcelona some prestige in Europe. As the men's team, they haven't been able to do that in the past couple of years, and so once again, congratulations for winning the Champions League. But now, guys, I'm gonna be looking at Xavi's words in his press conference, in which he basically says farewell to the club. We have already seen Xavi's farewell message on Instagram. If you guys haven't checked that out, just go on the video that I posted yesterday, in which Xavi basically says, we're parting ways. Thank you for all the support that you've given me throughout the years. Go check out that video. But this is what Xavi says in that press conference. I'm fine. It hasn't been easy days. I'm proud. It's been 2 years in office. It has not been an easy stage due to the current situation of the club. With a clear conscience, we have given everything. No, that's not that one. We have always tried to be club men. I think a good job has been done, although we have not reached the objectives this season. The tremendous has been spectacular, and the learning tremendous. Yesterday, we were with the president, and he told me the reasons why he believes that the club needs a change of coach. I just have to respect it, the decision to sack him. I am a club man. I will always be available for what Barcelona needs. I'll be one more culé. They have decided it doesn't matter if I understand it or not. They think they need a change. I was still motivated, excited, with my ambition intact. I believed in the squad that interesting things could be done, obviously changing some things. And the media, they asked Xavi about potential return to Barcelona, and Xavi responds like this: returning one day, yes, why not? I see myself coming back. I would like to. It's the club of my life. We have had a roller coaster of emotions, but I like being at Barca, working for Barca. I don't close the door. I hope they give me the opportunity to come back. And I really hope that Xavi takes these next couple of years, and he is able, to manage some other top teams in Europe. Maybe manage an AC Milan, maybe manage a Chelsea, maybe manage a team in Portugal, in in Eredivisie, or in anywhere across Europe, in which he is able to learn and basically grow as a manager. Xavi was just thrown in a very precarious and confusing, complex situation coming to Barcelona, the situation that we're in, and it's not ideal to grow as a manager. And so Xavi taking these next years, to basically grow as a manager. Who knows? Maybe in a couple of years down the line, Xavi can come back, and we can achieve that success that we were all hoping that he would achieve. And now he talks about the settlement of the contract. Settlement of my contract, there will be no problem with the economic issue. Don't go that way. Well, I already said that's how it will be. And now I'm glad that Xavi isn't causing any problems whatsoever. It seems that Barcelona will be paying Xavi, but specifically his staff members. Now, obviously, his staff members don't live the luxury that of like Xavi, because Xavi was an ex-player, and it's a good thing that Xavi is basically forfeiting his part of the contract. For that, you have to give immense respect. As Xavi said, he is a club man, and he's trying to help Barcelona as much as possible. And for that, you have to give him props. And this is what he has to say in regard to the president. I am grateful to the president, to the sports directors who have passed. I have not had any problems with the leaders. None. I am a man of consensus and a club above all. I have adapted to the circumstances. I have no choice but to accept the president's decision. I have been honest with the players. I've explained to them the reality, the reasons from the president, and nothing else. I always try to be very honest and fair to the players. It went well. The reaction of the players has been spectacular. The total support from me and the staff has been wonderful. The reasons would have to be explained by the president, not me. They're the ones who will have them. I accept them. This year, we have not competed in the best possible way. It is true that we've taken a step forward with the game, but not enough to be competitive and win titles. I think that has been important in decision making. And in this final couple of quotes right here, I have had to make very important decisions. I don't regret anything. I have been honest and sincere with players, leaders, and sport directors. I think we have worked with a lot of honor and a lot of love for this club. I am a culé for life, and I will continue to be. Rafa Yuste has been a special man for us. He has given us confidence until the last moment, but the decision has been made, which has been made mainly by the president. With Rafa, I am grateful. With Deco, with the president, and with all of us who have crossed paths with the club at this time. And that quote from Xavi, it correlates to some of the other things we've been talking on the channel, that it was, the person who was making most of these decisions was President Laporta. Rafa Yuste and Deco, they were at times, a little bit, skeptical about Xavi, but they had faith that Xavi would continue as the manager. They wanted Xavi to be that manager next season, but unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on where you land, President Laporta has decided to go and opt for Hansi Flick. And now Xavi will say this on what he will do. What next for me? I'll take a break. We need it, and from there on, we will listen and see what the future holds. And he's basically given his thoughts on what the future will happen. And now I'll be letting you guys what Xavi has said in his final press conference as Barcelona manager. He says this. Well, even if you don't believe it, I'll miss you. This is in his response to the journalist. Thank you all very much, and VISCA BARCA. And then Xavi gets up, walks away, and the crowd and the journalists applaud for him. And right there, it was a very emotional press conference. You saw how much Xavi loves the club, how much he cares for it. He's a club man, and I reiterate this: it's so sad that Barcelona, they could not make it work with Xavi. We all wanted Xavi to succeed and win the big titles, but it just wasn't the case. At times, you've seen Xavi's limitations, you've seen Xavi's flaws. Some decisions also they haven't gone Barcelona's way, or some circumstances outside of his control just didn't allow Barcelona to succeed. But those things happen in football. Barcelona, they don't win trophies. The manager is always going to be under the heaviest of scrutiny. And I wish Xavi all the best. And hopefully he comes maybe in a couple of years and he's able to take Barcelona and win some more trophies. But now moving on, guys, I want to be talking about Hansi Flick now. I want to be talking about Hansi Flick because he is already preparing for the Barcelona job. So some of the preparation that Hansi Flick has already done is that he has created an extensive report as he has watched some of Barcelona's games. He's analyzed some of Barcelona's weaknesses, some of their strengths, and in that report, he says that some of the strengths and weaknesses that Barcelona have are specifically in the defensive area of the pitch. Some areas we're not pressing right, some areas we're not attacking, and Hansi Flick, in his time at Bayern and in his time at Germany, his teams are very, characterized by high intensity, high pressing. Hansi Flick is a manager who likes his team to be constantly out on the attack, like to steal the ball, and just, be in the opponent's half, basically choke holding them and not allowing them to have room to breathe. And, in that plan, wingers are very important. And right now, Hansi Flick, he's just identifying, parts of the team in which could suit his style of play and which players they don't. And right now, Hansi Flick and Deco, they have come to an agreement that one of the main priorities for Barcelona is that pivot position and who should be taking up that pivot. Right now, the number one priority is Joshua Kimmich. Now, I've said my piece on Joshua Kimmich. I think Kimmich is a fantastic player, but he isn't an out-and-out CDM. It's going to be interesting to see how how Hansi Flick works with Joshua Kimmich, whether he plays him as a single pivot, as he plays him with double pivot. We know that Hansi Flick likes to play in a 4-2-3-1. And who would be a player accompanying him? Would it be maybe a Gundogan, a Gavi, a Frankie de Jong? That's going to be very interesting to see. And another player and another thing that we have to keep in mind is that there are some players in the squad who are going to have places in this team and some who aren't. Vitor Roque, a player who was not having any minutes under Xavi, could he have minutes under Hansi Flick? Hansi Flick likes his profile as Vitor Roque is a player who has high energy, high intensity, and can press up front, and he can learn under Robert Lewandowski. And a player such as Bernardo Silva, for example, a player who's more technical, who's not a sort of PMP. He's a player who could fall by the wayside, as Hansi Flick may favor players such as Sané, a player who has been mentioned with Barcelona, or Nico Williams, a player who Barcelona, they're viewing them as the number one priority for that left wing position. It's very interesting to see what Hansi Flick decides to do with these players. Also with Joao Felix and Joao Cancelo, what does Hansi Flick do with these type of players? Does he keep him? Do they suit his style of play? That's something that Hansi Flick is going to be looking at during the preseason, and just deciding what to do. Now talking, about some other players who Hansi Flick is looking at. Hansi Flick is right now looking at Mio Backhouse, a player who he is in talks with Deco for the next season, as he's already starting some of the squad planning. Deco, he's contacted Backhouse's entourage just to see his interest on Barcelona. Would he be interested in a move to the club? And Barcelona right now, they do not view him as only as a backup, but as a potential replacement for Ter Stegen. Now his price tag is expensive. It's roughly around 50 million euros. But Barcelona will negotiate to try to see, to reduce that in any form possible. And he's currently belongs to Werder Bremen, but he was on loan at FC Woldenheim, and he was named as Eredivisie's best goalkeeper, even though his club was relegated. And so Hansi Flick, he's already looking at some potential options on improving the squad. And Mio Backhouse is a name that's being thrown around right now in the media. And we know with the rumors talking about Ter Stegen, interest from Saudi Arabia, could he potentially be leaving the club? I think this is good stuff from Barcelona, already planning ahead and looking at some potential replacements for players who are getting up there in age. But guys, that was it for the video for today. Definitely let me know your guys' thoughts on everything that I discussed on today's video. Once again, congratulations to Barcelona Femini for winning the Champions League and achieving Barcelona's 4th treble. And what do you guys make of Xavi's farewell messages in that press conference ahead of the game against Sevilla? And then as well, lastly, what do you guys make of Hansi Flick already looking at some of the potential changes that he can make to this squad? But guys, as always, thank you guys for supporting me. Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys all in the next video. Peace out, everyone.